live on Periscope at GenT523. I've got your UFC Fight Night 144 picks. Let's go UFC Fight Night 144 picks. Live Saturday in Fortaleza, Brazil. When you know what that means, fam. Unless they're Russian, you pick every motherfucker who's Brazilian. These fucking Brazilian judges are so sketchy, so sketch that you can pretty much bet every Brazilian will win, particularly now. If it's Brazil versus Brazil, then of course you got to dig deep here. You got to do some investigating to see who will win, and I've got some of those for you. So, again, like I mentioned, UFC is in Brazil, and your picks should be Brazilians across the board, with the exception of the following fights. Okay, so first off, we've got Magomed Bibliotov versus Rogerio Bontorin. Is Rogerio Brazilian? Let's find out. He is. He will not win. I'm sorry, Rogerio. You will not win. You are going against Magomed Bibliotov. What is this? Khabib's second cousin, third cousin? Holy shit. Just any toff, you just fucking put your money over there. Don't even bother. Next, we have Ricardo Ramos versus Sad Nurmagomedov. Holy shit. You gotta put your money on Nurmagomedov because don't you love money? Don't you want to win? After that, the rest of these... Junior Albani. He is Brazilian. Do not motherfucking bet on Junior. Jarinzo Rosentruck. Holy shit. Some big-ass dude from Akon's country. He's fighting Junior Albani, and I have a feeling Junior's going to get trashed. Even though Junior is from Brazil, and we're betting all Brazil fighters... Unless it goes to a decision, Junior is screwed. Junior, bring your track shoes to the fight. Thiago Alves and Max Griffin. I feel like... Diaper boy. I feel like Thiago Alves has to retire now. This is it. This is the end. He wants to retire at home. However, Max Griffin, 14-5... I believe he gets this done. Thiago Santos lost to an opponent Max Griffin fought and won. So, but that is MMA math. Usually, sometimes that don't work out. So, I'm going Max Griffin on that. Don't forget Lavinia Souza. What is that, Jacare's wife or something? Or sister? Yee! Crocodile family. Johnny Walker! Holy shit! Holy shit! Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker should destroy this poor Justin kid. Charles Oliveira versus David Timur. You don't even have to bother. Charles wins that. Damian Maia versus Lyman Good. I said this before and I'll say this again. Lyman Good is that character you pick in the UFC game that you just want to beat up. You just... He did win his last fight, but previously, this guy sucked donkey dick. But... in this fight, I just have a feeling Damian Maia is just going to drag this dude down and choke him out. He doesn't want to get stabbed in his home country for losing. Duh. So, but if this fight was in America, I would pick Lyman Good to win. But if he pulls off the upset, Lyman bad. That's right. That's right. If he pulls off the upset, then good for him. Jose Aldo versus Renato Canero. Hey, retirement fight as well. This is it, man. Stop fighting. Enough's enough. We believe you. You're the man, Jose. Just stop now, okay? But I feel like Renato's going to knock his ass out. And finally, Brazil versus Brazil. Both of those fights, Brazil versus Brazil. Rafael Assunção versus Marlon Moraes. Marlon motherfucking Moraes is my guy. Hey! KO. Let's go, Marlon motherfucking Moraes. Okay. Rafael Assunção is pretty fucking legit, but I feel like he won that last fight that they fought. Stupid judges and your goddamn fix. Ugh. Marlon Moraes won that fight, and he will win this one again. Yeah, that's right. Team Marlon. That's what's up. Team Marlon. Okay, so with that being said, those are your UFC picks. Make your bets. Get in quick, because these odds are going to go... I know how this shit works. You got to get your bets in quick. But sometimes Vegas is slacking and you can make some quick money right at the last minute, right before they close the door on the cage. And that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time, those are your UFC picks. Peace. Oh, look, wait. Get that money. Get that money. It's time for Rambo Radio. Let's go. Hit that ball.
Rambo Radio with your host, Jen T.
Yeah, fucking Jen is a warlord.
Why people suffer is because they believe they are their thoughts and their feelings. Mm-hmm. And until there's distance between themselves and all of these different characters, they can't even see what's at play. And, I'm experiencing fear, so I'm an afraid person, or I felt anxiety, I must be anxious. And we're over-personalizing these different thoughts and feelings that are just coming in like weather patterns. And actually, ancient Greeks, it was Hellenism, they believed that emotions would come to visit you. And so it's like, oh, anger is visiting me right now. What message does anger have for me? Or, ooh, the muse is visiting me. Yay, we get to make something. What am I going to make with the muse? Okay, bye, muse. And I just think there's something so healthy about that perspective of them coming and going as different visitors, and here with a message, if we can pause and say, hey, what's the message? What can we create together?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rambo Radio. I am your host, Jen T. Twitter and Instagram at Jen T523. What's good, everybody? I hope y'all are having a lovely day. I know I am, because I'm not at work. And you know what makes me so much more happier is when I make money and I'm not at work. True puppy Vega. Suck it. Oh, God damn it. I'm so happy to talk to y'all because I just had another crazy ass week. I'm going to be talking to you today about that quote I just played from the Aubrey Marcus podcast, the owner of On It, or the co-owner of On It with Joe Rogan. The Aubrey Marcus podcast, number 188, talking about feelings and emotion. And I forget the name of the lady. I apologize, but the clip is on Aubrey's page. And of course, you can listen to the show on the Aubrey Marcus podcast on iTunes. So go download that shit now. The reason why I played that clip, because this week, the start of my week, I start my work week on Sundays. Now, most of you are like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? Sundays, historically, for me, have always been kind of a lazy day. Growing up, it's kind of just been, cartoons or maybe a little bit of yard work or just lounging around. Because growing up in a Seventh-day Adventist home, you do everything Friday and Sunday. Saturdays, you really don't do a whole lot because you're at church or you're just, my house. I wasn't supposed to watch TV. I did because I would beg my mom to please let me watch Dragon Ball Z. I just wanted to watch Dragon Ball Z so bad. Didn't care about church, didn't care about nothing. I just wanted to watch Dragon Ball Z. So in order to watch Dragon Ball Z, I made a deal that I would either do some extra chores or help out on Sundays. So Sundays, traditionally, if I didn't have any extra chores to do, and I would always get my homework done on Friday because of the Sabbath, or as some of y'all know as Shabbat, because of that, I really wouldn't have a whole lot to do on Sunday. And I couldn't play my drums because my dad was home and he wasn't a fan of them. And I would just kind of just lounge around, watch TV or whatever. But I always wanted to be productive on Sundays. So flash forward to me, the present day, working for the last 15, 16 years, every Sunday, with the exception of the time that I was out sick for about a year and a half. I did not work those Sundays. Thank you. But other than that, motherfuckers, I've worked and I work hard. So Sundays, for whatever reason, because I've had the day off to detox from work, or at least the day or two to detox from work, when that Sunday rolls around, or I'm sure you experience it on Monday, when that first day back at work rolls around, just all of these waves of emotions came to me. And normally I'm pretty good with checking that. I do my best not to express that, or I'll find some other outlet to express that in some sort of way, or I'll just fucking keep it to myself. I'll feel it, but I'll keep it to myself and won't say anything. This Sunday, particularly, the alarm went off, and like any other Sunday, I hadn't slept very good. For whatever reason, this thought came into my mind, because I'm not living up to my full potential, that all of these waves of emotion started to come to me, and I began to get upset and I started to cry. Now, I'm not a crier by nature because I have learned from a young age. My dad used to make fun of me for crying. He's not a scumbag, but he just had a terrible childhood. So he's not sure how to really deal with emotions. So I'm not a crier. So the only time I do cry is if I can't punch somebody in the face that I want to punch in the face. That's the only time that I will cry. So if you see me crying, that generally means I didn't get to punch somebody. And that's because I don't want to go to jail because their ass isn't worth it, but I'm very upset about it. But anywho, I began to cry and the alarm is going off and I'm just like, fuck, this is bullshit. This is absolute fucking bullshit. There are things that I can be doing that I know I'm capable of doing. And for some reason, this narrative that I had spent 15 years of building for myself, this safety blanket that, I got to go to this. I got to go do this job. I got to go do this job. And this is true. You got to go to work. Okay. You got to pay your bills. That's a given. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do either. The conclusion that I came to in the wave of crying was that I know now the reason why I'm crying is because I knew at that moment, I've known for some time, but I've known at that moment that this is counterproductive to my dream. This is counterproductive to my visions and what I want to accomplish, what I want to achieve. So I just rode the wave of tears, like the lady said, and I thought about what can I do with these emotions? Like she said, these spirits come and visit you. That doesn't define who you are. If you are experiencing anxiety, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you're an anxious person. That just means you're experiencing that anxiety for that moment in time, but it goes away. Now, if you experience anxiety constantly, and there are people who do that, who get that, and I totally understand, you have to take it from the perspective of it is just a spirit visiting you. What can you get out of this anxious moment? What is it you're trying to get out of your body or your mind that you are so anxious about? What is it? Write it down. Think about it. Is it something that you can take care of right in that moment? If you answered no, then that means you have to let it go. If it's something you can do about it right then and there, then you take care of it. Otherwise, you have to ride that wave of emotion, or you should. I shouldn't say you have to. You should consider riding that wave of emotion, letting it in and then letting it pass. Let it in and let it go. Because if you sit there and hold on to it, you build up just bad energy, bad fuel, things that won't build you. It will break you down. I immediately went to the internet. God bless the internet for this particular thing, because I said, man, these things that I'm experiencing, like they mentioned on the Aubrey Marcus podcast, what precisely can I do about it? What can you do about it? I found on psychologytoday.com. And this is 7 tips for dealing with life when you can't afford a therapist. First, live farther outside of yourself. It may sound counterintuitive, but I believe many people are depressed because they live excessively in their own heads. And when you live life centered in your mind, you are turned inward, likely listening to the constant inner dialogue of judgment and criticism. I'm not good enough, not pretty enough, not strong enough. I could have done better. I don't deserve. A self-centered world like this is a small world. When I first read that, I thought about this lady who, this nutritionist who had killed herself in New York. She's like some kind of famous nutritionist lady who was my age, who was in her early 30s, went to NYU, very accomplished, traveled the world, had a foodie blog as a part-time thing, and was doing nutrition as a full-time gig, which is kind of what I do. Shockingly, she killed herself. A lot of people were like, whoa, where did this come from? Look at her life. It's amazing. But she went on to say in her letters that she's been trying to kill herself since she was a kid and just really didn't have the courage or didn't feel like she was ready to do it until this point in time. But what I had heard about is, I heard while I was reading that story, I have podcasts playing in the background when I read different stories or I'm on my phone, and comedian Duncan Trussell was on the Church of What's Happening with Joey Diaz. And he mentioned that you have to be careful when you listen to the thoughts in your mind or to the things going on in your mind. You should consider them, but you don't need to take all of them seriously. So I'm sure for her, she had this thought of suicide for many years. She mentioned that. We all have these bad thoughts and things and ideas about ourselves. I'm one of them. I used to say it to myself over and over again that I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not strong enough, I could have done better. I don't deserve this, or I deserve this because I'm a scumbag. I've said that to myself over and over again for years and years and years and years and years. And what it's left me was a terrible relationship, a super bad breakup, and super bad self-esteem. Flash forward to 6 years later, where I'm finally coming to the realization that that's all bullshit. That's living in the inward mind, and I need to live outward. When people tell me something positive, I need to believe what they're saying. I don't need to disregard it. They're not just giving me a compliment or telling something about me that's positive. They're not just saying it to say it. They mean it. So part of my coping mechanism was to be like, I appreciate it, or meh, whatever. It's not true, because in my mind, this is what I feel. But on Sunday, all of that came to a head. All of that just boiled over. And I realized that, no, this is all bullshit. You deserve better, meaning me and meaning you. We deserve better. We are strong enough. We are good enough. We deserve it. We really do deserve it. Now, do we deserve everything? No. You got to use some self-control here, but we do deserve it. We do deserve good things. We are, if you don't break the law, you're not hurting anybody, and you're trying not to hurt yourself, I would say that you deserve it. You deserve to have to think good thoughts about yourself and want to do great things. And I think that is very important. The way to break this is to accept your feelings, but not the judgmental thoughts behind them. Feel anger, but don't label it. Draw conclusions from your judgment, no matter how convincing it seems. It's okay to feel lonely, but it's not okay to stamp yourself as unlovable, which I have totally done that. I've been like, well, fuck, I'm unlovable. This lady did this lady did that. This and this is happening. I must be unlovable. And that's simply not true. That is simply a safety blanket, a guard wall I have put up to protect my ego. And my ego is not my amigo. It's okay for me to think that I am lovable, just maybe not right now. Okay, stop. See, I did it. Okay, so it's okay for me to think that I am lovable. Just, it's gonna take some time. No, I can't say that either. Shit. It's okay for me to think that I am lovable, and it's also okay for you to think that you are lovable as well, because we all deserve love and happiness. Secondly, pull from your solid self instead of your pseudo self. People with weak transparency muscles live within the pseudo self. In plain English, they live according to the false version of themselves, unable to be transparent about their authentic needs and desires. Rather, the pseudo self seeks other people's approval as a way of trying to stay in a false place of security. I am a victim of this. I have done this for many, many, many years and years and years and years, and just trying to make everybody fucking happy. And it's just, I'm burnt the fuck out, man. I'm burnt the fuck out. And the reason being is that because I was trying to stay in a place of false security. Now that I understand where I want to start heading to, the direction of the things that I want to do, even though half my life's almost over, but I finally fucking figured it out, and I'm trying to put those plans into action. For me to figure this out, or for you to figure this out as well, is to be being transparent allows you to find your voice. Your voice is your gift. Your voice is your solid self, the true you. What prevents people from exercising their transparency muscle is fear. Fear prevents growth. You must shatter fear, or you'll snap back every time you will stretch. We got to get out of our comfort zone. Doing things too comfortably or being on autopilot, going with the motion is not good for you. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for us as people. It's important that we participate in doing the things that we love to do. Whatever that is, whether it's a hobby or if it's finding that career that you want to do, it's important that you focus on getting that done, because each day you waste not smashing through fear, fear wins. Fear gets a hold of you and wins, whether it's on a conscious level or an unconscious level. So we got to move forward, press forward, break through our fears, and get out of your comfort zone. You'd be surprised. It's very exhilarating. I know for me, I've been writing a lot of jokes this week, and unfortunately, one of my friends at Moto Kenzo got motherfucking bodied. I mean, we went back and forth. I'm pretty sure that I won. I'm not saying that I'm proud that I won, but it was helping me with my jokes. It was actually helping me write more material. He had waved the white flag a bit, and I said, no need to do that. And he said, be nice. And I said, well, okay, I'm just practicing for my stand-up. I'm sorry, but you're the target. I had to body my friend, but luckily we're cool enough with each other that, we can go back and forth, for a day, and the next day it's fine. It's just jokes, entertainment, all in the name of fun. Yeah, I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm starting to practice my jokes. I've got almost a yellow notebook full of jokes. I'm trying to go back through Twitter. This is the painstaking part where I'm trying to go back through my timeline. And as a serial tweeter, this is fucking hard. But I'm trying to go back into my timeline and get back all of my jokes that I tweeted. I'm going through this process. I'm writing stuff down, and it's energizing me it's energizing my brain to think of other jokes that I can write down too, as well as the old jokes. So my plan was to do stand-up last week, but some things got in the way, and this week just things fell through too, and I was just like, fuck, I could have went and got my stand-up done. God damn it. I hate that. I'm trying to trust the process. I want to be able to commit to this. I want to be able to commit to this, but I can't commit to this if I got to take my car to get service. I can't commit to this if I got to go get a haircut, or if I got to do these things. I have to take care of these priorities. These are my priorities. Comedy, of course, is my priority, but I also have to look Good. I want to look good because then that makes me feel good. I also need a car that works. My car is not new. It is quite old. So I have to be careful and pick and choose because I've got to drive an hour and a half to LA to do my stand-up, which fucking sucks. I mean, I love that LA is the land of opportunities, but god damn it, man. Isn't there something around here in Shits Bernardino? I mean, fuck. It sucks. I know there are things here for me to do my stand-up routine, but they're not really receptive. I can tell by the crowds that go there, the type of comedy that I'm going to be doing at this show. It's not revolutionary comedy, but it is going to be motherfucking shocking. And when I say shocking, it's not revolutionary shocking, but it's just going to be flat out offensive. And I can tell my comedy for small town folk will not work. But I know if I test this out in LA, it will work. It will work. And eventually maybe the world will get around, or maybe a small town club will hire me knowing that it's offensive and the people that go there just don't care. Great. I'm all for that. But I don't want to name names, but there is the Ontario Improv that is about 30 minutes from my house. And that's a great comedy club. Not knocking that, not disrespecting that in no way, shape, or form. The problem is the scheduling for open mics. They are on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or they rotate around in different days of the months. And all of the days of the months that they rotate around are all of the days that I work the night shift. Nobody, and I mean nobody, will switch with me to work my night shift. So I'm fucked. So I had to find a place where I pick the time, I book the time, and it's my time. And it's a little bit more flexible. It's not where a lot of open mics, when you go to them, you put your name in a hat and they pick you or they don't. Sometimes at open mics, because they are open mics, homeless people from the street wander in, talking on there. It can be a real nightmare. So this place that I was suggested to by at the Mighty Boognish, love that motherfucker. Shout out to the Boognish, Little Miss Ellis. He suggested this place to me that I can book the time. I don't have to worry about my name being chosen and driving 3 hours round trip to not get my name chosen. That's going to fucking suck. So he told me about this other place for me to do it at. And so I'm going to book the time there as soon as I do not have any motherfucking commitments or interruptions. It's making me restless. And that brings me back to why I was crying, because I was so restless, so irritable. I wanted to get my comedy done and I couldn't get it done. I've been diving in this week. Sorry, long tangent, but I've been diving in this week and writing my comedy, so I'm feeling better. I'm letting go of fear and I'm committing to the things that I want to do. We tend to create anxiety because we clutch onto things in an effort to control them. We do this with our children, relationships, our jobs, certain aspects of ourselves. But if you believe you do not own the event, person, or experience in question, it won't have power over you. This doesn't mean that you don't own your feelings. Your feelings are valid. You do own them. They are your truth, but the shit that's happening in your life is separate from you. You are borrowing those experiences like a pair of bowling shoes. You get to use them as tools. So rather than create anxiety in your life, like I said, over circumstances that are beyond your control, or maybe they're in your control, if they are truly not within your control, you sit down and evaluate it. If they're not in your control, you have to let it go. Save it for a later date. You have to let it go in that moment because you can't allow that to have control over you. It's paralyzing. You have to move forward. You got to progress forward, and you can't do that if you're letting anxiety control and dictate your movements. We all negotiate too much in our jobs, in our relationships, our boundaries, our time, our passion, our health, and our happiness. But consider this, without non-negotiables, you are flimsy. You do not have a center of gravity. You do not know who you are. If you do not know who you are, how will you know where you're going? You become a piece of driftwood drifting afloat in the ocean. You are lost. You are stagnant. You compromise your needs. You get into abusive relationships. You fall into depression, and you begin to feel you are worthless. And I would just say yes to everything. Yes to everything. Yes. Because I was in fear of not being accepted by other people. I've already got this black thing on my plate. I've already got this gay lady thing on my plate. I already got this, I don't know which fucking gender thing is on my plate bullshit. All of that floating around it's so easy for me to say yes because I don't want to be denied. I don't not want to be accepted. Everybody wants to be accepted, right? So I would just say yes to everything. Yes, 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 yes. I ran out of gas, fam. I ran out of gas. I said yes to everything, and then I lost my relationships. I said yes to everything, then I lost myself in my job. I said yes to everything, and then I wanted to kill myself. I fell deep into a depression. You have to have these non-negotiables. Say no. If people don't accept you for saying no and standing up for what you believe in, then those people probably shouldn't be in your life. So here are the things that you're no longer willing to negotiate about yourself. I will always be heard. I will always create a space to pursue my passions in some form. Live life inside out. Most of us allow, this was a big one for me, and I even posted this on social media. This one was huge. Most of us allow external objects to define us. Money, career, cars, aesthetics, other people's opinions. With the mindset, it is nearly impossible to be an authentic version of ourselves. We morph our truth to match things in the world around us. We lose our voice and authenticity in the process. We will be weighed down by the worries of the world, comparing ourselves to others with the constant desire to chase what is outside of ourselves. It is impossible to live our lives to the fullest potential when we are so fixated on the external. This was the light bulb part of these 7 things. This was really the light bulb because so many people allow these external things to define themselves. Oh, I am a champion. I am this. I am that. I have this much in the bank. All of these things going on, it means nothing. Remember, we're all going to die. Remember that. I don't mean to sound morbidly, but we're all going to die. And do you want to go to your grave with this emptiness, these things that you can't take with you? The only thing that you can take with you to your grave are the memories. And even those start to go as you get older. Living inside out also means not holding feelings inside. In order to move through life with a gorilla chest with certainty and transparency, we must unload what we carry. The treasure is not outside. What makes us valuable is what is within. So if we choose to live a life inside out, we share our value with the world. This is a choice. The most valuable thing is what is within us, what is within ourselves. And that is what you need to share with the world. Sharing the value inside of ourselves, our hearts, our soul, our passion, our creativity. That is the most important thing. But that also comes from a choice. You have to choose to do that. Or you can choose to buy that brand new Benz or that brand new house. You can choose to do that. What enriches the soul is sharing the experience and the knowledge with others. Number 6, expand your bright spots. Everyone has bright spots, though we are most unaware of them. We are so busy obsessing about the future and dwelling on the past that we don't notice them when they are happening. They fly by like our adolescence. To push back on this, turn your dial from macro to micro and taste the nectar of your life, even in the smallest things. The first sip of hot coffee in the morning, the few seconds after a run, consuming your favorite meal, or me landing a badass trick on my finger skateboard. Or completing this awesome podcast for you guys. These are life-changing things. The more you are aware of your bright spots, the more you are training your brain to appreciate the little things in life. If we stretch these moments and string them together, your days will feel happier, lighter, and you can flip the script and believe that life is truly a joy. With a few moments of shit. Oh, and finally, number 7, the biggest thing of all, is sharing your story. Sharing your story doesn't mean verbally vomiting on those around you. It means being vulnerable and disclosing when appropriate. And remember, you have to define what appropriate means for you. If you think your desire is coming from a place where your story will help someone, then share. Sharing comes from a place of wanting validation. What do we learn from other people's stories? Then we do our own. If no one shared their stories, where would we be? What lessons would we learn? How alone would we feel? Each and every one of us, we are a million walking stories. Your story is what makes you you. Your pseudo self will want you to close your book. Your pseudo self will want you to close your book. Your solid self will want you to open it. And that is from Psychology Today, people, by John Kim, The Angry Therapist. I love it. I thought that was perfect for me because I'm, of course, a recovering angry person. But let me know what you think, guys. If you're experiencing depression or anxiety, share with me if you'd like in the DMs, or tweet me, or whatever you like, or keep it to yourself. It's up to you. But share with me how you get over those things. How do you push through? Or do you let it take control of your life? Because you can't do that. How else will you progress on to brighter things? How else will you move into happiness? How else will you obtain joy if you are letting fear and anxiety and greed take a hold of you? You have to let all of that go. This week, I've got my second album this week of the influential albums from my man Block Talkie at Block Talkie. The influential album this week is Design of the Decade by Janet Jackson. Yeah. The reason why I picked this album this week, this was the first CD I ever got. So I had just got a CD player for Christmas, and this was the first CD that I got. And I thought, oh my gosh, I love Janet Jackson. And I know you're thinking, oh, because she's a lady, oh yeah, you're a gay lady, blah, blah, blah. No, it had nothing to do with the gay thing, because, you know, I just don't really want black ladies. Sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. But particularly, it was the drums, how these albums were produced. I am big on how albums are made, or how they're produced, the writing, all of the behind the scenes stuff at what makes these albums so epic. And particularly, this was an album. It was a greatest hits of all of Janet's hits up until that moment in time. But the reason why I liked that album was because A, it was my first CD I ever got, and B, is because it had all of my favorite Janet Jackson songs on there, and I just loved the rawness, the feel, the funk of that album, of Design of the Decade by Janet Jackson. Two things I want to bring out to attention that stood out to me even as a child is the two different versions of Black Cat. The original version of Black Cat, which was on Rhythm Nation 1814. And that version versus the version on Design of the Decade. Design of the Decade version was way better, and that was because they used the guitars from Living Colour, and they had a live drummer on that one. My favorite part, though, is the Rhythm Nation sample that they used in the song Rhythm Nation was this song from Sly and the Family Stone, I Want to Thank You for Being Myself. And you'll hear that in the sample. Let's dive in to Design of the Decade. So here we are, 1995. October 10th, 1995. And of course, Christmas of that year, December 25th, 1995, I received that CD with a CD player. And then the track came in. Boom, 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 boom. What have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. What have you done for me lately? Yeah. Give me a beat. Oh man, what a good song. And then nasty boy, mean a thing. Oh, you nasty boys. Nasty boy. But I mean, how could you not tap your feet to this shit? How could you not shake your hips, get in the groove with Nasty? No, my first name ain't baby, it's Janet, Miss Jackson if you're nasty. Ooh, the bass on this next one. So in love, ooh, so in love with you. When I think of you, Damn, I would do the Running Man for hours to that joint. Yes. Oh, this song, Escapade. God damn, the drums on this was like fire. Boom, 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 boom. Escapade. Let's go. Escapade, man, get my best. Ooh, and that vibe that Escapade created, it went into Miss You Much. I miss you much. Miss you much. I really miss you much. Miss you much. I miss you much. Miss you much. Baby, miss you much. Miss you much. Ooh. Love Will Never Do Without You. I remember this video because it was like a Calvin Klein commercial. They just had Janet in the most, like the least amount of makeup. It just had all of these hot models in there. And then there was one that was a very popular African model at the time. And she had bald hair and she was dark like Brother Darkness. I can't remember her fucking name, but she was all over the video, and then they had these dudes, all these chicks, the hotties with the bodies, and it was just like everybody was going crazy for this video. Love will never do without you. This city wonder we have to but damn, all right, we and Control came on. Out there that Baba said, I skip and go, but Baba's in the I'm in control. I'm in control. Yeah, I'm in control. Now I'm all grown up. Oh, my sister used to put that shit on when she didn't want to listen to what my parents were saying, because Janet was like, I didn't know, listen to my father said, I'm in control. And then so my sister would be like, I'm not listening to nobody what you're saying. I'm closing the door. Put on my Janet Jackson tape because I'm in control. Oh, damn it. Then the Pleasure Principle. Man, I didn't even know what the Pleasure Principle was. I just know that when that video would come on, I would do all the dance steps, and my mom would walk in and she's like, you haven't missed a single step. How did you do that? I said, I don't know. I just constantly watch this video 100 times a day, not knowing. Flash forward. Let's see, that's 95. So it was like another 6 more years later. No, maybe another 5 more years later. I was teaching my friends these moves. And let me tell you, every motherfucker who wants to learn how to dance, particularly a woman, when they want to learn how to dance, they all want to learn that Pleasure Principle video because it's the most imitated. It's just Janet in a mirror with some track pants on and a belly shirt. And they all wanted to do it. And they couldn't believe this Patty McFaddy was out dancing them. I was like, yeah, what's up? I've seen this video 1,000 times. I know how to do this. The birds about the pleasure. With the pleasure, it's about next up, Black Cat. God damn it. The drums on this are so solid that Black cat and dining go big and brown back about the table and square pie. Man, the guitar on it was powerful stuff. Black Cat was like the first Janet Jackson song that was not poppy, it was not R&B, it was like just straight up like Roadhouse Grill shit, motherfucker. Then the ever so deadly Rhythm Nation. Damn, motherfucker. I mean, everybody in there was trying to learn these steps. I mean, this was like one of the biggest universal choreography videos that was out there to date at that time, and that was the late 80s, I believe, early 90s. Rhythm motherfucking Nation. We all got them fucking army get-ups on with the black hat, and we were trying to do all of them steps with Janet. We all were trying to be a part of the Rhythm Nation, especially if you were black. That was a requirement in the 90s. You had to know them steps or you were out. You had to return your black card. Then, of course, that's the way love goes. Boop ba doo boop boo boo doo. I used to fucking hate this song because it was every motherfucking where. All of the ladies and the moms and the grandmas were talking about that's the way love goes, and I was like, shut the fuck up. It's too slow. I like to rock. I like to dance to pop music. I like it to be disco, but I couldn't get into slow Janet. It just bothered me so much. I was like, fuck. Why are you doing these slow songs? But it completely makes sense. She had to get to her original crowd, which is the ladies, the love-making music, the boning, which of course didn't get the guys laid or the gay ladies laid. So you gotta have the slow songs. I'm sorry, I'm not much of a fan of it. I am now, but at the time, anytime I would hear, that's the way love goes. Hey, that's the way love goes. Like I'm off in a fun. I would turn it. Oh, I was like, my love is black. I to see the. Shut the fuck up, Janet. Oh God, I would just turn it. I couldn't stand it. And then, of course, there was Come Back to Me. It's too slow for me. So I would turn it, but I appreciate it now. And then finally, Let's Wait a While. Let's wait a while. Before, let's let a while. Mommy got to. Man, I couldn't get into it then, like I said, but I appreciate it now because you can't. My mind is always thump, EDM or rocking out, and I understand that you have to have your moments of diversity. You have to just change it up. And at some point, you have to bring the pace down a little bit. It's all right to do that. For me, growing up, that felt very feminine to listen to slow music. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? Where's me man shit? Where's the guitars? Where's the drums? Where's the funky bass? Where's the dancing at? This is like, I understand it now that I'm older. It's strictly boning music. And there's a time and a place for boning music. You need it. You have to have it, because what else are you going to bone to? Silence? If you bone to silence, if you don't bone with music on, you the devil. Then that is it for my influential album, Design of the Decade by Janet motherfucking Jackson. This week I watched 2 shows on Netflix, the Fyre Festival, The Party That Never Happened, and I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, the Steve Aoki documentary. Holy shit, very good movies. I highly recommend that you watch these, okay? Watch. Because you'll learn something. There's something very important. Particularly this Fyre Festival. This shit got me so riled up because when it first initially had happened and it went public, I thought it was funny because all of these rich people got stuck on an island. They paid for this island and they showed up and they're laying in Hurricane Andrew tents and they thought it was going to be a villa. But then when I started to get the behind the scenes, not necessarily stories of the people, but just how motherfucking sinister this Billy McFarland is, and Ja Rule, 2 scumbags of the week, faux show, and how they were scamming people, particularly Billy McFarland. He's been doing this for over 20 years. He had this bogus credit card company offering people free tickets if they bought things to different events, and they never did. And then this Fyre festival to the tune of $26 million is missing, and Billy McFarland has not paid for this. And because of all of this buzz, he was finally arrested and put in jail because he violated the rights of his parole by starting up another scam company and taking the emails of the people he scammed out of the Fyre Festival and trying to get them to buy stuff from him again through another company. What a scumbag. And then Ja Rule is in this because he was an investor. He's a co-investor into this thing with Billy. But particularly, he's on the tape telling the people that worked for this Fyre company to lie to people about their acknowledgement of what was going on, how the money was being spent, and the mishandling of the event. And one of the workers said that's lying, and Ja Rule said, ugh, it's murder. Oh, holla. Just tell the people it's a misunderstanding, like a false advertisement. Ja Rule, it's murder. It must be the eyes. Which, by the way, I'm contemplating because the level of scumbaggery Ja Rule has shown me in this documentary. I am almost going to take him out of my intro. If you listen to my song intro, he is in there. He says, it must be the eyes. God damn it, Ja Rule. Don't make me change my song intro. I love this Rambo for Radio intro. I don't want to hear any more scumbaggery coming from you. You got one more shot at this. But anybody who listens to the show and you want to vote, if you vote that you want me to take out Ja Rule, then I will. Otherwise, he's staying. I think this week I was going to change it, but I think I said, no, I'm going to give this motherfucker one more chance. Don't fuck up. Because if I find you're like holding women captive like R. Kelly or pissing on them or you're sleeping with kids, it's a wrap. I'm taking you out of my show intro, Ja. Don't do that to me. It's murder. Holla. So, Ja Rule is like, huh, it's false advertisement or something. I don't know. We don't gotta tell the people we knew. Bullshit, dude. Be a good person. Be a good human being when nobody's watching, Ja. Isn't that your name, Ja? Come on. Fucking dork. Anywho, for now, Ja is staying in the show intro, but if I find any other levels of scumbaggery, this kid's done. He's done with the Rambo for Radio faux show. The second documentary I saw was the Steve Aoki, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, and that was fascinating. I already knew about Steve Aoki's dad being the guy who founded Benihana, but I wanted to get a more updated version about how Steve Aoki started Dim Mak Records and how he became a DJ, because he wasn't a DJ to start with. So it's really cool. I highly recommend that you check out this movie. Because he wasn't a DJ this whole time. He's only been a DJ for 10, maybe 15 years max. And he learned from one of the greatest, the late great DJ AM. DJ AM took the time to show him how to DJ, and I think that is so important. Any motherfuckers out there gonna show me how to DJ, or am I have to teach myself? But no, Steve Aoki is one of the hardest working motherfuckers on the planet. And for those of you who hate on his music or hate on Dim Mak Records or don't like the techno music that he makes or how he DJs, watch this movie. You gotta show this guy a little bit more respect. I mean, the guy will literally do 3 shows a day in 2 different countries or 3 different continents. I mean, he's everywhere doing shows, getting his name out there, because this whole thing started from he was just trying to get the respect of his father. And I related to Steve on that level. Our father's being successful, maybe not as successful as Steve Aoki's dad, but my dad was a very successful man, and a lot of people know him and respect him, and I've always wanted that respect from him, but I know that I have to work hard. Now, at this point in my life, I've realized that I work hard. I'm working hard for me now. I don't have to necessarily have his respect. He may or may not respect me, and that's fine, but it's what matters is what is inside of me and what I can do with my life. It's not up to my dad. It's not up to my mom. It's not up to my friends. and my coworkers. It's up to me. And it's up to you about your life. That's what it all boils down to. So watch that shit. I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's time for Customers of the Week. This week, I had a weirdo old dude staring at my ass in the automatic wheelchair, and they told me to watch my hiney after it. It's fucking weird. Hey, excuse me. Yeah, sir, how can I help you? Watch your hiney. I'm like, huh? Yeah, watch your hiney. I'm like, okay. So apparently you've been watching my hiney. We both have been watching my hiney because that's how big it is. I can see it from the front. You can see it from the back. What the fuck you want? Oh, I'm just saying to watch your hiney. Move over. You're in the way. And I was like, there was literally 6 feet of room for him to walk on either side of me. And he was telling me to watch my hiney so he can move. I was like, huh? And even my coworker was like, what? What a weirdo. I was like, yeah, why don't you watch your hiney right out of here? Jog off. Watch your hiney. Secondly, I had Ricky. Ricky's friends came in the store. That's right. Ricky, our favorite Nigerian friend. Excuse me. Oh, hey, Ricky. Can you help my friend? He wants a fish oil. Okay. Come over and I help his friend. Fish oil. And I'm like, what? A fish oil? And he's like, oh my God. I was like, did you want fish oil? A fish oil? Is this a fish oil? And I was like, yeah, bro, it says fish oil on the bottle. A fish oil? Yeah. Thank you, Rambo Pro, for showing us the fish oil. And then his friend came back and was like, a fish oil? And I was like, yeah, man, if you look on the back of the bottle, it says in the ingredients it's fish oil. Where? I do not see it. Show me. Where? Where is it? Where is the fish oil? Okay. No. A fish oil? Like, yeah, it's fish oil. Okay, you don't know. Okay, bye. And I was like, what? It says fish oil on the bottle. It says fish oil in the ingredients. Then what the fuck is it? No. Sugar? Oh, God damn it. And then finally, I'm going to play you some motherfucking clips this week. Jack Black and motherfucking Metallica. This set me off for Metal Monday. I played Jack Black with Metallica. Let's check it out.
Nightmares? Dude, he's ready to go. I'm ready, buddy. Should we form a new band? Sorry, Kyle. Upgrade. Hell's taking my sight, taking my head, taking my hair in, taking my arms, taking my leg, taking my soul. Let me with life in hell. Woo! Dude! Oh my God. That's the best ripcord. Ladies and gentlemen, Metallica!
Ooh. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Oh my God. I love Jack Black. I've always said that I was the black female gay version of Jack Black. I love that guy. His fucking physical comedy and his humor. I will always love that guy. Please don't be a kid toucher. I will love you forever. Next up, sound bites. Let's see, what do I got here? I've got, what's this? Oh no, that's nothing important. Oh yes, another Metallica post. This is always my favorite part of the terrible movie Metallica made about their therapy sessions called Some Kind of Monster. And it's Dave Mustaine crying to Lars Ulrich and about how he is teased He's been teased for many, many years about getting kicked out of Metallica and him forced to start another band. You might have heard of them called Megadeth, and how Metallica has sold over 100 million records and Megadeth has only sold 30 million. And he's just so upset and butthurt about it. So here is Lars. Excuse me. Sorry, Lars. No offense. Here is Dave Mustaine, the big crybaby. Oh, the reason why this makes me happy, of course, is because Dave Mustaine is notorious for being weird about gay people. And the fact is, a lot of metalheads are gay, man. That's just weird that you care what gay people are doing in their bedroom. Now, you have the right to feel that way, but I just think it's weird when you bring it into the music. Just saying, here is the clip.
I mean, people hate me because of you. You know, I walk down the street and I hear some piece of shit say, Metallica at me, and they do that to taunt me. I mean, when I would hear Metallica on the radio, I would be like, God, I have to turn this off because I just keep thinking, I fucked up. Right. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. You know, and by no means is it done because somebody else very important is not here. Right. Do I wish it was 1982 all over again and you guys woke me up and say, hey, Dave, you know what? You need to go to AA? Yeah. I'd give anything for that chance.
Okay, I kind of have a heart. I kind of feel bad for him because if you're not aware of the history of Metallica, so Dave Mustaine was in the original Metallica, and what ended up happening was Dave Mustaine was partying way harder than the rest of the group of Metallica was, to the point where they're like, you need to get some help. We're kicking you out of the band. You're going to kill yourself. And like he mentioned there, it really hurt his feelings for many, 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 many years. And I'm sure it still does hurt his feelings because he felt like he wasn't given a chance, whereas everybody else was partying hard too. And he thought that, you know, that they would have just accepted him for who he is, or maybe tried a little bit better to get him help, but they didn't. They just kicked him out of the band. So, but I do feel his sense of remorse there, how he wished that he could turn back the hands of time and correct that mistake. But you know, shit happens, life goes on, and you know, he started Megadeth, so what the fuck? He still kind of won, but I get it. You want to be in Metallica, but everybody knows, you know, shit happens. It's important to move on. Don't let that bring you down. Look at that. He's held that in. That was 1982. He's held that in. This movie was made, I think, in 2012 or 2013. No, this movie was made in 2010 or 2011. So for all of that time, he has held in that anger, that resentment, and see how it's not healthy for him? See that, people? Back to what I said earlier. You gotta let go of that shit, or it will consume you. Then finally, we have this crazy-ass bitch who was calling 911 on some guy supposedly on her property, but he wasn't. And so she proceeded to throw herself on the hood of his car and claim to 911 that she was being ran over, when in fact she wasn't. And of course, it got remixed by Suede, the music god. Here it is.
Please, some guy in a car, and now he's videotaping me.
Because this is unlawful.
Ma'am, he's running me over.
No, I'm not.
Ma'am, hurry, please, hurry. Mike! 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 Please, ma'am.
Sway, this my shit.
Please, ma'am. And now he's videotaping me.
Sweet, the remix gone!
Oh, God damn it. Please go to @GNT523 on the Instagram to watch that video. It is motherfucking hilarious. And on that note, please like, share, and subscribe to Ramble for Radio, rambleforradio.com. A heavy episode today. Sorry, not sorry. If you made it this far, then congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. Share it with a homie or not. I thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to go hear old episodes, they are all up there on rambleforradio.com. You can click the link and it will direct you to Libsyn.com/RambleForRadio, I believe it is. If not, just go to RambleForRadio.com and then click on the link, and all of the episodes will be there on the front page. But until next time, this is Ramble for Radio, and
Sway, this my shit.
Please, ma'am. And now he's videotaping me.
Sway, the remix gone.
Mike! We're me and Mike. Mike! We're out.